نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. قال الله تبارك وتعالى: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ليس البر أن تولوا وجوهكم قبل المشرق والمغرب ولكن البر من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر والملائكة والكتاب والنبيين وآتى المال على حبه ذوي القربى واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل والسائلين وفي الرقاب وأقام الصلاة وآتى الزكاة والموفون بعهدهم إذا عاهدوا والصابرين في البأساء والضراء وحين البأس أولئك من السبيل والسائلين وفي الرقاب وأقام الصلاة وآتى الزكاة والموفون بعهدهم إذا عاهدوا والصابرين في البأساء والضراء وحين البأس أولئك الذين صدقوا وأولئك هم المتقون. صدق الله العظيم. Ulama Kiram, most respected brothers, last week we were discussing these verses of the Quran Sharif, in which Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala mentions very, very clearly that it is not righteousness, or it is not only righteousness that the person turns towards the east or west, and I just explained to you what it really meant, or why were these verses revealed. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam had changed the Qibla upon the hukam of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala from facing Masjid Aqsa. Now he was facing the Kaabatullah Sharif. So these people were making a kind of a propaganda that what kind of Nabi of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala this is. That a little while he says face in this direction, then he says face in that direction. So Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala informs by means of these verses that it is not the direction in which you face which is important. It is the hukam of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala which is the important factor. If Allah Ta'ala is pleased that you face in the direction of Masjid Aqsa and make your salat, then in that lies virtue. And if Allah Ta'ala says now face the direction of Kaabatullah Sharif, then in that lies virtue. In other words, in all our actions, in our deeds, it is what is the hukam, what is the command, what is the order of Allah Ta'ala. The fulfillment of that is virtue. And if Allah Ta'ala is not pleased, then there is no virtue. On the day of Eid, a person says that I am a very, very pious person, and I really love to keep fast for the pleasure of Allah Ta'ala. So therefore I am going to keep fast for the pleasure of Allah Ta'ala on Eid day. Then we all know that that is not virtue, it is haram. If a person reads instead of 2 rakats now for Jumu'ah, he says, no, I am going to read 4 rakats. And he tells the whole congregation that we'll get more sawab if we read 4 rakats. Then will anyone in the congregation accept that? Everyone will say, no, that is not the hukam of Allah Ta'ala. I have mentioned this with regards to our fasting also many a times, that it is the hukam of Allah Ta'ala, that if a person, for example, just 2 or 3 minutes before the iftar time, he opens his fast. Because somebody says that the purpose of fasting was to feel the pangs of pain of the poor and needy who are starving. So now you have kept fast 16 hours, 18 hours some places. So now what difference does it make if you open your fast 2-3 minutes before time? So the person will never accept, even though the whole congregation or the whole country or all the friends and family members and great scholars tell him that open your fast 2-3 minutes before sunset. The person with the weakest iman also, he will say, I cannot open my fast because it is Allah Ta'ala's hukam, we must fast till the sun has set. Yes, there are benefits in fasting and everything else. The benefit is something else. But the hukam of Allah Ta'ala has to be fulfilled. So in the same way here, facing east or west, Allah Ta'ala makes it very clear that all virtue does not lie only in that. And then we discuss some aspects of it. ليس البر أن تولوا وجوهكم قبل المشرق والمغرب ولكن البر من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر والملائكة والكتاب والنبيين. So the person, first of all, the beliefs, the aqaid of the person. Now all are not mentioned in this ayat, but the major aqaid are mentioned, that is where virtue lies, that the person believes in Allah Ta'ala, he believes in the last day, he believes in the day of judgment, the last day. If the person believes in, then that is the solution to all problems of crime. If the entire mankind of all the society, or the place where he is living, in his environment, in his society, every person believes that I am accountable. There is a day of judgment on which I will have to answer for all my doings and actions. So that person is not going to commit crime then. He is not going to steal somebody's money. He is not going to embezzle funds. He is not going to cheat and deceive anyone, because he believes and truly believes. Therefore, Hazrat Shah Anwar Shah Kashmiri Rahmatullah Alayhi used to say that Iman जानने का नाम नहीं है, ईमान मानने का नाम है. Iman is not just the knowing. Iman is to believe, truly believe. If a person truly believes in the day of judgment, yes, accidental sin the person can commit. Even a pious person can make a slip. But then he will get agitated. He will never be at ease until he has made sincere tawbah. And if it is a right of someone, until it has not been fulfilled, the person will never have any kind of comfortable sleep. So this shows that the belief in the akhirat, the belief in the last day, the belief in the day of judgment, which is fundamental aqidah of the Muslims, it brings about a revolution in the life of a person. And that is where the division comes. That the disbelievers, for them, their whole life revolves around the material things of this world. Why does he seek education? Why does he get knowledge? Why does he go to the universities, colleges, or get skills? So that he may be able to earn sufficiently to provide for himself a good car, a good home, and travel the world, see the tourist attractions, and live a comfortable life with luxury. That's about all. Their life ends there. So there is no end then to the evil in the person's life, because he wants to enjoy, and enjoy. Now after some time of enjoying that which is good, after some time the person gets bored. Now he says, now I enjoyed enough of this. Now that which was halal, that which was permissible, that which was good is limited. Now the person after that, now he gets tired, he gets bored. So what he's going to do now? Now he's going to go for that which is haram. Then in the haram also the person gets bored. In the haram also the person after some period of time, then he gets bored. If he's taking a certain amount of drugs, then he's tired of taking that amount because he's not going on to a very high. So he takes more and more and more until he destroys his life. The same with adultery, fornication, porn sites, and all this type of haram. There is no limit to it. There is no limit to it. The person will never reach a stage where he will say, now I had enough. Now it is sufficient. I don't need any more of it. Ask all those people who are addicted to porn sites and addicted to haram, or addicted to drugs and addicted to other kind of filth. There is no end to it, because it is like the waters of the ocean. The person will drink and drink and drink, but his thirst will never be quenched. The more he is going to drink, the more thirstier he is going to become. And if he is going to continue drinking, then his stomach will burst. He is going to die. So this is what happens when the person gets tired of enjoying even that which is haram. So therefore Shariat says, believe in Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, believe in the last day. Then there are many, many things that Allah Ta'ala has made halal. Eat and drink from that which is halal, and enjoy the ni'mats of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala which are made permissible to enjoy. Then keep this bond and connection and muhabbat with Allah and His Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. Then the person will have true enjoyment. Then there will be true enjoyment, and there will be no tiredness, there will be no boredom. The person who has got true love for Allah Ta'ala, and he's got an ishq and muhabbat for Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, and he's making his ibadah, zikr, tilawat, then no time comes in his life where now he feels bored and he says it's enough. In fact, they have to be told that that now you must reduce. Some of them have to be told that now you are making too much of zikr, or you are engaging yourself too much in nafil salat, you are staying awake too much at night, you are keeping too much of fast. They have to be told to reduce because they get such kind of enjoyment and hal in that condition of this. So what is it that is making them do that? I've always said that look at the people that are making tawaf. What is bringing them there to make tawaf? In the 45-degree heat now, what pulls them out of their homes and rooms and the hotels and come and make tawaf in that heat? It's not farz, it's not wajib. But it is that love. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala gives them some kind of happiness and joy in that ibadat. So this belief in the last day, that is what we have to really develop. And that is the solution to the problems of the world, crime and everything else. We can try everything else, it's not going to work. Many a times I have mentioned that the police force, then we need another police to police the police force. And then they will have a corruption department. Then when that department becomes corrupt, then you have to appoint another corruption department to handle the corruption that's taking place in the corruption department. Where is it going to end? It's not going to end anywhere. But the person who has got the khawf of Allah Ta'ala in his heart, he's got the love of Allah Ta'ala, he's got the realization that my Allah is watching, irrespective of where I am. Jis jahan mein rahun, jis fiza mein rahun, jis jahan mein rahun, jis fiza mein rahun, mera taqwa hamesha salamat rahe. सामने ऐसा खौफ क़यामत रहे, सामने ऐसा खौफ क़यामत रहे, हर गुनाहों से मेरी हिफाजत रहे. So now this person, whether he is on the ground, or whether he is in the airport, or he is in the air, wherever he may be, but before him is that there is a qayamat that is going to come. So therefore he will control his gaze, he will control his heart. He is not going to steal. Otherwise, at the airports also a person can steal. In the aeroplanes a person can steal. In the aeroplanes also the person can commit so much of sin. So therefore Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, this belief in Him and in the last day. First thing Allah Ta'ala mentioned, Man amana billah wal yawmil akhir. If the person just believes in those two things, it is sufficient. Then of course he has to learn the whole of deen. But this is the emphasis that is being placed on this. That as far as the aqaidah concerned, Man amana billah wal yawmil akhir wal malaikati wal kitabi wal nabiyyin. Now this malaika, these angels of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, Allah Ta'ala has appointed two angels that are recording our deeds. Now in those days it was difficult to understand the recording of deeds. They said, how can they record deeds? I think I mentioned once in one of the bayans that when we were traveling in the 1960s by ship from Durban, that time we used to go by ship to Bombay. And the ticket used to cost only 150 rands. 150 rands you should travel from Durban to Bombay. Any case, so there was one doctor on the ship. Now he, unfortunately, never had his foundation right. So we were still going to study at that time, what do we know much? But he said, Molana, the ulama, they talk about the angels recording deeds. So a person is doing something all the time, he's doing something. How much they're going to record? So very sarcastically he said that if there is any truth in it, then by now the person's shoulders should have been so big that you wouldn't have found a coat to fit his size. Because they're recording on the shoulders. The angels are recording, so he said the person couldn't have found a coat to fit his size. So I asked him a few questions, there's no time to go into details. But where you started off with grade 1, you went up to matric, you wrote your exams, you must have learned history, geography, mathematics, and science and what subjects. And then of course you traveled the world, and then you did your BSc, you did medicine. How many books you had to study? You can't write without knowing all those facts. Where are all those facts? It's in my memory. I said, your head should have been so big that you couldn't have found a hat to fit your size. Now at that time we didn't have computer chips. But now with the computer chips, everything has become easy to understand. So Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, now these angels, if a person believes that Allah Ta'ala has got these angels, they are appointed for different functions and duties. And we discussed a few of these things. Then, وَآتَ الْمَالِ عَلَى حُبِّهِ. In spite of the love of that wealth, he is giving. For the love of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala makes him give that wealth. Now he gives to whom? First category that Allah Ta'ala mentions is Zawil Qurba. And that is where I think we stopped. That Zawil Qurba, those who are related, those who are close, those who are family members. Amongst them, if there are people who are in need, who are having difficulty and hardship, who cannot afford the rent, light and water bills. Now these type of people should be the first to be given consideration. Indeed we will get sawab, we give all parts of the world. But we know that most of the time those who are closely related show no appreciation. Therefore there is emphasis on it. Because the person that gives for causes outside, then the person gets congratulations, mashallah, you made a big donation. Sometimes it's published in the newspapers and magazines, the person was handing a big check for this cause and that cause. But even if he gives a double that amount to his brother or to his family member or someone else that is in need in the family, then that person will say, if this person gave me 10,000 rand, then what great deed did he do? Even if he gave me 100,000, he was not short of anything. So that's the kind of congratulations that he gets from family members. Family members, that's the kind of congratulations generally he will get, that what did he do? If he gave me 20, 50, 100, what did he do? He's got millions, from there he gave me a little. So to take that kind of criticism and still give it for the pleasure of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, the reward is very, very great also. Because here the person is not getting congratulations and appreciation and vote of thanks is not being passed. So it shows that he's giving it solely for the pleasure of Allah Ta'ala. Now when those people criticize, then he thinks that whom did I give it for? Now he doesn't break family ties with that person. He doesn't bring family ties and he doesn't go around saying that I did so much for my family and see what appreciation did they show. He believes that I gave according to the hukam of my Allah. And he is the one who blessed me with that wealth. And it is his hukam that we must give. Therefore in the ayat of the Quran Sharif ayat which is recited at the end of the khutbah, Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan wa ita'i dhil qurba wa yanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkar wa ita'i dhil qurba. So many places in the Quran Sharif Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala mentioned. Because that is a neglected area. Many people, they have their family members in their own towns, in their own country, sometimes outside the country. A person may be very closely related, but he is suffering. So that is the person that must be taken care of first. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, of course, will give to everybody all good causes. But here, this person now, he does not go around saying that I did so much for my family members and they showed no appreciation. The moment he says that see, I did so much for my family members, but they showed no appreciation. I gave them on this occasion, I gave them on that occasion, but they never returned those gifts. So now that shows he gave it for his nafs. He didn't give it for Allah Ta'ala's pleasure. If he gave it for Allah Ta'ala's pleasure, then he will say, well, I got my rewards. Whether the family break the ties, or that is their business, but I'm not going to break the ties. So Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam is teaching us that even those who are breaking family ties, we must maintain the family ties. If there is a problem, if there is some kind of conflict, if there is some kind of dispute and argument over financial matters or any other kind of matters, then that must be resolved. Nobody says that you must make maaf of everything. It must be resolved. But as far as the family ties are concerned, then they must not be broken, because the barakat of a person and barakat in the life of a person, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam's hadith sharif very clearly indicates, is in the maintenance of these family ties. If the person is good towards his family, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala gives him barakat in his sustenance and his rizq also. And especially when they are poor, when they are needy. So therefore Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala mentions here, and وَآتَ الْمَالَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ ذَوِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينَ وَابْنَ السَّبِيلِ. Then the yatama, the orphan children, those people, those children whose fathers have passed away, and there is nobody to really take care of them, or there is nobody to show that kind of compassion and love that the father would have showed. Therefore Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala gave them such kind of status, that these yatim children, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said that if you pass your hand over their head, then as much as strands of hair on their head, you get sawab and neki. And Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam himself was an orphan child. Allah Ta'ala mentions this. In the Quran Sharif also, look at the different ayat. But again, I repeat that most of the times when it comes to yatama, then our mind goes only towards those yatama who are in some orphanage. The moment we talk about yatama, our mind goes towards those yatama and those orphans who are in some orphanage, who are being taken care of. No doubt they also need our care. But many a times these yatama are in our own homes, because the brother passed away and left behind young children. He left behind young children. In the same way, if you have to look at families, there are so many people, fathers have passed away, and the children are very, very young. Now their estates are under the control, or the father's estate is in the control of that uncle or family member. Now that is the time he's got to be very, very careful. He must not devour the properties of those orphans, because it is very easy to do so. There are so many properties of orphans, because those orphans, they don't know anything about business or what is happening or what their father has left behind. Now those people who are appointed as executors, they will themselves lease out or rent out those properties of those orphans at peanut prices. They will pay absolutely nothing. Now when those orphan children grow up, they find everything is gone, finished. So therefore, Allah Ta'ala has emphasized this. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam has emphasized. We should be very, very careful in this regard. So now that is a subject which we can discuss in great detail about yatama and masakin and everything else. But here we are just saying that how Allah Ta'ala says that it is not just righteousness that we face east and west, giving us a very clear message that many a times over issues which are trivial, Qiyamah day Allah Ta'ala is not going to even ask us, but we will have hair-splitting debates and think that we are doing great justice to Islam, that we are fighting over this kind of an issue, which as I said may have got no real relevance also. There are many issues like that. A person may pick up some pamphlet, may pick up some literature somewhere, and he reads something, and it may not be even an authentic hadith, it may not be from a reliable source, and some fact has been mentioned there, which is neither farz, nor wajib, nor sunnat, nor mustahab. But now the person will read that and he will go arguing with everybody. No, but this is how it should be done. This is how it should be done. So it is not only righteousness that the person turns east or west, but all these things are righteousness. وَآتَ الْمَالَ عَلَىٰ حُبِّهِ ذَوِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينَ وَابْنَ السَّبِيلِ. Many a times a person comes into the city, he comes into the town, he's a wayfarer, he's a musafir, and the person is in need now. The money got stolen. Hijackers took his car away. Or the person lost his purse. Or some other necessity arose. Now, not only the musafirs who are wealthy and rich must be taken care of. Here it is actually an indication that sometimes the person is even wealthy, he is rich, but he is rich at home. He's got his money somewhere else. And it happens many a times on journeys, the person is overseas, he's out of the country. He's got everything at home, but now here suddenly he's got absolutely nothing. And that is where to come quickly to his assistance, to help him, to take care of his need, and to provide him with even so much so that even if that person is rich, and he's got everything at home, but if he's got nobody to take care of him here, and he's lost his money, he's lost his wallet, he's lost everything, and he is now desperately in need of some money to get some transport from one place to another, then even zakat is permissible for that person to accept. Afterwards it's a different thing, he goes home and gives back that zakat. So now the wayfarer. Look at how beautifully Allah Ta'ala explains. ذَوِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينَ وَابْنَ السَّبِيلِ وَالسَّائِلِينَ وَفِي الرِّقَابِ. And those who due to the need, due to a necessity, due to the poverty, they ask that in the tafasir of the Quran Sharif, in Bayan al-Quran, this word has been added there, that due to need they ask. That means a person without genuine need, he should not open the door of begging. When he's going to open the door of begging without genuine need, then Allah Ta'ala will keep him poor all his life. Without genuine need, when a person starts begging, I need money for this, I need money for that, I need money for that, whereas he's got sufficient to eat, drink, wear, and he's got some shelter also. But if his person's habit becomes begging, then he will remain a beggar all his life. Even if he has millions, he will still remain a beggar. And I will conclude on this in Makkah, Medina Sharif. In the early days, now of course they've taken most of them out. But people used to go round and round, round and round. Those who went for Hajj those days, they know. Their pockets begin to bulge with an amount of riyals that they collect. And those Arabs, sometimes they give them big, big bundles. But just because one hand is cut off or is paralyzed a little bit, somebody will carry him around. And when the pockets bulge, then they go outside and they empty the pockets and come back again. So the government also then said they knew where these people stayed. The moment the person dies, they seal off the door. And they found millions of riyals inside sometimes. So the moment the person starts begging, then that is what happens. If he's got no need, that he'll carry on and on and on all his life. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam has taken a qasam on that. And if Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam takes a qasam, then it is something that we know will be fulfilled. May Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala give me, give you and the entire ummah the tawfiq of amal. Allah ta'ala must remove the difficulties, hardship, pain and suffering of mankind around the globe, and especially the ummah of Nabi Pak sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in different parts of the world. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.